Welcome in episode number 34, live from the NBA Finals. Game 2 halftime is just over 2 minutes away. Joining me once again is Zach Huffman. You can find him on Twitter at Zach_Huffman_ as we review the first half between the Heat and the Nuggets. Amazing stuff happening in Denver right now. NBA Finals Game 3 predictions. We'll give you way too early of one of those. And St0ner softball dominance. They play Stanford tomorrow at 11 a.m. as we are recording live here on Sunday. We'll tell you how many runs we think the Sooners will win by, as it seems like a foregone conclusion. Zach, how are we doing this fine Sunday Eve, sir?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Watching pretty good game going back and forth here, Denver and Miami. Looking like your prediction is going to win out, though. Denver looks like the best team by far in the NBA. So looking like they're going to win this in probably 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, this is, this series has been definitely entertaining to watch. The first game obviously was a blowout, right? We talk about how poor Max Strus played and how poor Gabe Vincent played, and obviously tonight a different story. I have no idea what that was. I apologize for that. I just had an ad just play randomly in the middle of that, but that's okay, because it was warranted, and that was definitely planned, was that soundbite, because that's the sound you hear when Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are getting things going. That happy tune right there. And what can you say about the start that the Heat had to this game, right, Zach? Going up 11, 21 to 10. What went wrong as Adebayo hit the bench?
Well, exactly that. Adebayo hit the bench. He was playing great basketball in the first half. He was defending well. He was getting, not only was he getting good shots up, but he was facilitating as a big man, kind of doing his best Jokic impression. And as soon as he got on the bench, you saw Denver started making a comeback. And, part of that was that Denver just wasn't hitting their shots in the first couple minutes. You saw Miami go up on a 7-0 run, I think, to start the game. So, Denver's going to be in a tough position coming back from that no matter what. But geez, this Denver team is just so resilient and they're so deep that it's impossible to beat them with your second unit. Even just taking out some of your key starters. That's what lets these kind of runs happen. I need to look at the stats right now to see what kind of game Jokic is having, but I'm assuming since Adebayo came out, Jokic scored.
Yeah, right
15
now
or so
Jokic
points.
is actually a -9 on the plus minus right now. He's got 13 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, and only 4 rebounds total, 1 offensive, 3 defensive here, as the first half is winding down. So not a great half for Jokic. Only has 2 assists. I think the Heat are doing a good job at making other people have to beat them. But right now, I think the story for Denver right now, Zach, is the play of the bench right now. Jeff Green was 7, Bruce Brown was 7, and Christian Braun with 6.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly it. It's like you just don't see that on Miami. You're not going to see that out of Miami in any out of some of their bench players, unless people like Caleb Martin and Kyle Lowry start to get going. You're not going to see anything match the kind of bench play from Denver. But Caleb Martin's shooting pretty terrible right now, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he's missed his first 2
he's over
shots.
2.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean
And see,
he's only played 6 minutes thus
and the
far.
field goal percentages right now for Miami are not good, especially after that first little run they had. Bam Adebayo, he was playing well in the first, when he was first in, but since then he's shot pretty terribly. He's 2 of 5 right now. Or no, wait, 2 of 7.
Yeah, started really
Just like
strong.
right under 30%.
Yeah, he started really strong. It looked
And
good.
and Kevin Love is one of 5.
Can't have that.
You gotta get better play from your front court, especially in the NBA Finals. But I think it was Mark Jackson said it really well at the beginning of the game. You could see that Miami went on that run because they were playing with kind of an intensity that Denver just wasn't playing with,
Yeah,
kind of that
yeah,
urgency
they were sleepwalking.
of
Yeah,
yeah, because I think Denver is assuming probably correctly that they're just gonna sweep this team or, get rid of them in 5 games. But, if they just walk through these finals with that mentality, then Miami, it's dangerous and Miami will come back in that kind of situation. So, oh man, what a pass by Jokic I just saw. Man.
yeah, it was a very nice pass. As Adebayo hits a shot to end the half. It is going to be 51-57 at halftime as Jokic will launch a half court shot that falls short. 6 point lead for
How
Denver at
about
the half. Um, the
how
sp-
about Aaron Gordon, man?
yeah, I mean Aaron Gordon playing okay. He has 7 points right now, but the shooting percentage for him has been crazy. 3 of 5, and he's hit his only three. He's playing with a great
In game
efficiency.
1 too.
Great, yeah. Game one, if you want to go backtrack, yes, that was one of the best games that Aaron Gordon's had in a Denver Nuggets jersey, and one of the most important of his career by far.
Mhm. What
Um,
a making up for those second place dunk contests.
100%, 100%. I would take. I think a lot of players would take this position he's in over winning a slam dunk title if they had their pick right now. So just give me kind of your thoughts on how you think this second half is going to go. Right, they're up by 6. The spread on this game is Heat +8, which I thought the Heat would cover this 8 point spread, and right now it's kind of teetering. Right, they end up surging by like 15, and then here come the Heat on like a 7-0 run. It's like runs of sevens right now is what we're kind of dealing with right here, Zach. Do you think that the Heat need to play Caleb Martin more and sit Kevin Love here to start this second half?
Yeah, I think you just gotta focus on making sure that Bam Adebayo can stay on Jokic. You can sit K Love and kind of play more of a small ball lineup, I think. You can keep Duncan Robinson in there, you keep put Caleb Martin in there, you keep Jimmy in there, obviously, and I think that you throw Kyle Lowry in there. Um, I think that's the kind of the lineup that they should go with to start this second half. The problem is I just don't see them being able to stop one, the size and depth of Denver in this second half. I mean, especially in the second half when people start getting more and more tired. I don't think the Heat are going to cover that 8 point spread, and I think the Nuggets are probably going to run away with this one in the second half.
I mean,
As much
yeah,
as it pains me to
yeah,
say,
very
I
light, yeah.
love Jimmy. I want the Heat to win this series. I'm pretty pragmatic about it right now, and I realize that the Nuggets are one of the best teams I've seen in a long time, and I don't see many teams being able to beat them. Unless you're talking about Kevin Durant running to the Warriors type situation. But
Yeah, yeah, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon.
yeah,
Let's talk about Jimmy Butler, right? So last game he only had 7 points at halftime. Tonight he's only got 11. He's been distributing the
hmm
ball a lot and deferring the ball. He's got 4 assists at the half right now, to go along with 3 total rebounds. He's hit both of his free throws. He's hit his only three. But he's only shot the ball 9 times. Zach, do we need to see more of Jimmy Butler, or do you think that he's having to get rid of the ball due to these double teams, and it's having to come down to players like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus hitting their shots?
I think Jimmy needs to command the ball even more than he already is. I think he needs to take more shots. I think he needs to be the one driving in and kicking it out. It's the Heat are the only chance they have of winning any game in this series and winning this series at all is if Jimmy Butler has the ball in his hands and is scoring 30, 35, 40 points. If that's not happening, they're not winning the game, and that's just plain and simple. I don't unless the Nuggets just fall apart defensively, Jimmy Butler has to score at least 30 or 35. You have to have 20 out of Bam Adebayo, and you got to get a solid 15 and 15 out of your players like Gabe Vincent, Matt Strus. You need 15 points from each of them. You need points from Caleb Martin.
Yeah,
It's difficult because when you look at the Nuggets, you see the other side of the ball. You see Jokic is going to get his points.
mhm.
Aaron Gordon's getting his points because he's just such a good cut.
Yeah,
He's a good slasher.
he is.
He's good at driving to the basket and getting the Jokic getting the ball to him. And then Jamal Murray is going to score. Obviously, he's probably going to get his 28 quietly, which is insane. And then you got KCP. You got Michael Porter Jr. I mean, all these guys are going to score at least 10 points, which
So
gives you a lot of problems.
so riddle me this now. I just want to make this kind of interesting. So what if I told you at halftime Jamal Murray wouldn't have 10 points, Jokic would only have 13, and Michael Porter Jr. only has 3? How much do you think Miami is up by? I mean,
And
is
that's the problem. Yeah.
that's reality, right? Because that's
Yeah.
something you would expect Miami to be winning under those circumstances, correct? But
You
as we
would, but that's the problem with Denver is they're so deep that
yeah
you have
yeah, and
people.
that's
You got Bruce
exactly
Brown and Jeff Green giving you 7. You got
yes
Christian Braun giving you 6. I
exactly.
mean,
And that's what I
what
was
can you
gonna
do?
get to was this really comes down to the bench because look at the plus minus on Miami's bench: minus 14 from
Mm,
Duncan Robinson, minus 17 from Highsmith, minus 13 from Caleb Martin, minus 9 from Cody Zeller, a minus 21 from Kyle Lowry, and then like you said on the other side, Green plus 18. Brown plus 8, plus 16, and Braun plus 14 off the bench. Those are staggeringly polar opposites when it comes to plus minus with these players right now. And that's
yep.
exactly where you're seeing this deficit come by. Because if Martin hits those 2 shots, if he hits his 3, if Robinson comes in and gives you anything, he gave you nothing but a personal foul. Duncan Robinson played 5 minutes and gave you nothing but a personal foul. That thing says 0 across the board. Didn't even shoot the ball, just nothing. Gave you zip, nada. Highsmith checks in the game. Guess what he gives you? He gives you 1 rebound, 2 personal fouls, and doesn't shoot the ball. You have to be
And
aggressive.
minus 13.
Yeah, have to come aggressive off the bench if you are playing in a game like this. And Caleb Martin has got to be
Mhm.
that guy that we saw in Boston in Game 6. He's got to be that guy. If he is not that
And
guy, if he is not that guy, Miami's got no chance because their bench is so bad that Denver's bench, like you said, their depth is just going to overwhelm you, and the next thing you know, you're down 20.
yeah, and one of the big problems that I'm seeing in this game is Highsmith is not guarding Jokic to the same ability that he was in game 1. They threw him on Jokic in game 1, and it seemed to work decently well, and I think if they kind of focus on putting Highsmith on Jokic more, maybe play him a little bit more in this game. He wasn't playing well in the first half, but I think if you give him a chance in the second half, see if he can guard Jokic a little bit, then you're starting to get in the conversation of being able to guard at least the starting lineup for the Nuggets. Now, that doesn't solve the problem that's leading to the deficit, which is the rest of the bench scoring and being able to put up points in comparison to Denver's bench. I mean, you look at, like you said, Duncan Robinson having 0 points right now is unacceptable if you're
Yeah,
Miami
didn't even shoot the ball.
because that just can't happen. This is where you're really starting to miss Tyler Hero. If you're Miami, you're starting to miss the offense that you can get from Tyler Hero, the self-created buckets, the drawing the help on defense that gives Bam Adebayo more buckets. That's where Miami's really starting to miss that extra offense that they get out of Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we see him in game 3. I wanna see how he can affect this game. If I'm Miami, I'm thinking, "Can we get him in the second half?"
yeah.
Probably not. I think if you list him
Yeah, I
as
think if
out,
you list
then
them as
they're
out,
out, but
you can't put him in. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And the other thing about that is the fact that like if you were to tell me that Miami's hitting 47% of their threes right now, I would also think that they're winning this game, right? They're 8 of 17. Like, they're shooting the 3 ball well. If Max Strus gets open, he's knocking it down tonight. I said after game 1, he's not going 0 for 7 again. Like, it's just not going to. I mean, he's a shooter. Like, you
yeah.
have one bad night, and you're not going to shoot the next night. I don't think anybody like Max Strus or Duncan Robinson has a problem with someone saying shoot the basketball, okay? I don't think anybody needed to reiterate that you need to keep shooting the basketball even when you're that terrible in game 1. And look what happened. You hit your
Mhm.
first 4. So, I mean, I think that now that he's 0 for his last 5, it's kind of concerning, right? But the thing is he's still going to keep chucking that ball. And if he doesn't, you're screwed because he's one of the only things that's consistent right now with your offense. And Vincent, keep hitting those mid-range jumpers. If you can get the pickup on that high elbow area, get him down there by that left or right elbow. That's his money spot. He's hit 2 shots from there already in the first half. The 3 that he hit was from the right side of the arc as well. So keep him on the right side.
Yeah.
If you're Miami, try to create something for Vincent on his dominant hand side of the basketball court, and you might have a shot of crawling back in this because again, you're only down by 6 here.
Yeah, and just a little point I wanna make, and it's just thinking about the Nuggets and watching the Nuggets just made me think about this. There are a lot of people saying even in the media and even just people in general saying that this finals is boring and that watching these Nuggets is boring. And I just want to say that the Nuggets are playing beautiful basketball, and if you can't appreciate that, then I don't know why you're watching the NBA in the first place, because they are distributing the ball at a level that is never before seen, and the ball movement is incredible. This is one of the most well put together teams that I've ever witnessed, and it goes all the way back to 2014 when they first drafted Jokic. They have built this team from the ground up around him, and it has worked so well, and it is great to see. But to the point of the Heat needing more offense. I think that's what we're going to see in the offseason a little bit. I think we're going to see some of their more defensive focused players kind of get out of there. Players that can't score like they used to. I think you're going to see Kyle Lowry probably out of there. We're going to get some younger offensive talent kind of come in. Um, I've seen that the Heat are a favorite to land Kyrie all of a sudden, which is interesting to me. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I worry about that
Yeah.
if I'm the Heat, but that's an interesting way that they could go. And we can see what they do in the draft. It's a pretty talented draft when you think about it.
Yeah.
Um, and we should get into the draft a little bit. Um, the NBA draft. I don't. The lottery came out. I don't know if the lottery had come out last time we had an episode.
Yeah,
I
it
think
had
it
it
did,
had. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's looking like the top three's almost set in stone. I'm kind of confused as if Scoot Henderson is going to be second or third.
Yeah.
If I'm the Hornets, I'm taking my chance and taking him second. I don't see, in my opinion, Brandon Miller does not. I don't see it. I don't get it with Brandon Miller. I don't understand what people are seeing that I'm not seeing. You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a tournament game where he scored 0 points.
That's fair.
I'm seeing a player that the system ran through him and it worked decently well, but when it came time for him to make shots, he couldn't make shots. I'm not excited for Brandon Miller. I don't know if I'm the. I mean, if I'm the Blazers, I am praying that the Hornets take Brandon Miller,
Mm,
because I've seen that the Blazers seem to really like Scoot Henderson. They're working him out a lot. They are advertising that they are working him out a lot. They're posting a lot about him on their social media. I think he worked out there like yesterday and today. It's obviously Victor's going number one, but
yeah.
I thought it would be pretty obvious that Scoot would go number two, and it's not looking that way. I guess he's a guard, and you already have LaMelo if you're
Yeah.
Charlotte.
You don't need him.
But come on. I mean, if Michael Jordan messes up another one, I mean, Jesus.
I mean, and
Talk about
I,
awful,
I think
awful owner GM.
I think he really likes Brandon Miller because I think he sees a lot of himself in Brandon Miller, and not really with
Mm,
the way Brandon Miller carries himself or how he plays, but more about just like his size, his physique, in the position, right? I mean, he's a wing, and the thing is you know what I saw from Brandon Miller in the regular season, right? Because I'm more of a casual, NCAA basketball watcher than most. So I mean, I've seen Brandon Miller play games where he didn't score 0 points, and I can see what people are liking about him. He's got good size. He's got good ways of separating himself from the defense. And again, I think this is one of those things where we can't lean on one bad game just to say that he's not worth the number two pick. I think the Hornets are going to take him. And the reason I think the Hornets are going to take him is because what you said. You have LaMelo
mm.
Ball. They don't want to bring in Scoot Henderson because I don't think LaMelo wants competition. And I think they're afraid that if they bring him in and Scoot Henderson's better than LaMelo, then LaMelo is going to be upset. That's going to cause problems. And I think that with you have a head case like his dad, I think it could lead to other things that are just kind of extra. And I don't think that the Hornets want to deal with that. So I think they're going to take Brandon Miller at number two. And I think that's why I think you're seeing the Blazers post all these posts and stuff because I think they're pretty confident that they know Charlotte's taking him number two.
I think that's probably the better situation for both of their careers. I would love to see Stuart Henderson get kind of the veteran leadership from Damian Lillard, unless Damian Lillard's out of there.
Yeah, if
But
he goes to
um,
Miami, I could see that being a better fit than Kyrie.
oh yeah, for sure. But I would hope that Damian Ashley would stay for Scoot Henderson because I think Scoot Henderson's extremely talented and could give Portland kind of the push they need, especially when it comes to, in the rest of the offseason being able to, maybe if Scoot is really that guy, you start flipping some of your picks that you have in the future, see if you can get a couple more guys to come in. I think Portland might have a chance to finally make the run that Dame wants to. I'm that confident in Scoot Henderson being a generational type talent. He's an athletic freak. He can handle the ball really well. He can shoot the ball really well. He has great control. Um, I'm a big Scoot fan, and I think that the Blazers would be extremely lucky if Charlotte took Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller's good. I think he's a solid player, but I like if personally in my big board, I'd have him at like number 4 or 5. Because I'm looking at
Would
like
would
players like I'm in
would you
Thompson,
take
and
would you take Grady Dick over him?
I don't think so. I think Grady Dick's probably going to slide to like the 10, 11, 12 range, and I think the Thunder might be able to pick him up if he slides that far, which would be interesting at number 12. I like that. But what I like even better right now is the guy that's on the same team as Wembanyama, the Bilal
Mm, okay.
Koulibaly.
Yeah.
uh, he's a good. I believe he's like a bigger wing if I remember right. Um, I'm a pretty big fan of his. But yeah, I think this is a more talented draft class than people are giving it credit for. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you were to go um, looking for answers here on the interweb, um, a lot of people are saying that if this is going to be the time to draft some of these overseas players, this is kind of the year, right? I mean, there is a lot of talent that's not coming um, from exactly the states right now, right? I mean, Brandon Miller's kind of it right now.
yeah,
Grady Dick's a good player. I enjoyed watching him play. I think he's a really talented shooter that I think could take one of those Duncan Robinson kind of roles where you just kind of spot up shoot, but he can also create his own mid-range game, which is he's just kind of a big offensive threat. The defense is kind of where I'm concerned about
yeah.
Grady Dick, right? He's not a great defender.
He reminds me of Tyler Hero,
Yeah,
honestly, a little bit
yeah,
because he can
that's
get create his own buckets in the mid range. He can catch and shoot. But yeah, I think he's a solid talent. Uh, give me 1 second. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
okay.
So
I will go
you
ahead
can just
and we
edit
will
this
talk
out.
a little bit um, about kind of the picks that we had last time. I'll go over them real quick for everybody back at home while he runs to the pisser. So, look, I mean, last time he was on here, it didn't really go super well um, for Zach, and that's okay. Some weeks are better than others. Um, go up here and pull this up for us. Um, I have the pick sheet up here for you guys to look at here. If you want to take gander here, Zach is this. Zach is in this uh, column over here. Let me roll down a little bit too far here. So Zach, as you can tell, is over here in this D column. So last time he was with us, it didn't go well for Zach. 0 for 5 and 0 for 3. So not a good time for Zach. We're trying to bounce back, right? We're trying to bounce back here in episode 34 for him. I mean, this is exactly kind of the spot that you use to bounce back here. When he comes back, we'll talk a little bit about Game 3 here and where we think this is going. As the second half here, this game starts. We start to think about kind of where we're going to go as a collective here at Stoner Sports Radio to see kind of where things are going to fall. As far as our predictions are, I think my Nuggets look pretty good right now. Dax Heat needs some help here. Gabe Vincent has offered some relief tonight as he knocks down another triple. And, with 9:21 to go here in the third, Denver with a 2-point lead here in game 2. And, timeout Denver, right? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. If Vincent's knocking down shots, if things are going well for the Heat, from their bench players and stuff, they can really give Denver a run for their money. It's all about how you start facilitating after the half and making those adjustments. And I think that if Denver can kind of cut down on getting lost on some of these pick and rolls that Miami's running, where Strus is wide open, and in that case, Vincent wide open for three. If they can if they can make those adjustments at halftime, we'll see if that happened. But as of right now, I mean, this is one of those things where we're not really going to know, how this is going to play out until this game is over. But I think that we've got a good chance of seeing some really interesting play here down the stretch that we didn't get to see in the first game due to the fact Denver was up by like 100. So right now, my picks, as far as I'm concerned, I have the Heat plus 8.5. That one's still looking pretty good right now. The under at 214.5. If you take a look at the score right now, 64-62. At the half, it was 57-51. And if you double that, see, 57 plus 51 as I pull my calculator up here. All right, yeah, we're sitting about we're sitting about at about 218 right now as a total. So we would blow out the over at this point. So good for these teams to finally find some offense, right? That was kind of my concern with Miami. Were they able to find their offense? And I thought this would be more of a defensive battle, but really this has been more about the shooters finding space here in game two, and really they've taken advantage of that, and the threes have just started falling from both sides, hence there's a little high-scoring game. Now, we could have a low-scoring quarter that could change this thing, but as of right now, as at least if you just double the halftime score, it's looking like at least 218 right now, so we'll keep an eye on that under. The Vegas Knights I picked as my third pick. That one came through. The under on the goals didn't come through, so me and Kaz are wrong on those. But hey, I mean we're still battling it out here as far as picks go. Now, like I said, Zach, I mean, not a good time for you last time. 0 for 5, 0 for 3. But I didn't have a good time either. I didn't have a good time either. I went 1 for 3 and 0 for 3. So it was just kind of a bad time for us all around. Last time we were out.
It's the lines.
Yeah,
it's the lines.
It's the lines. Yeah, it's the lines' fault. So last time we had the over on the Miami Celtics and the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat. We had the over. That didn't hit. You took the Heat minus 1.5. That didn't hit. The only thing that did hit for me was the Celtics plus 1.5, and that was due to that Derek White tip in at the end. So I mean that was the only thing saving me there. The Rangers didn't do well. My Braves didn't do well. Orioles didn't do well. Padres didn't do well. And it just overall, just not a good time for you. Like I said, I didn't have a great time. My locks were 3-0, or sorry, were 2-1. Sorry, my locks were 2-1. And my overall was 3-2, so it wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. So I mean, we both have some bouncing back to do. Let's talk about Game 3 here, right? We're starting the second half here. It's a 2-point ball game. Game 3 is back in Miami. I think Miami takes Game 3. I think this is one of those games they get, and I think it'll be one of the best games Miami plays this series. I think they might win Game 3 by double digits. That's how confident I am that Miami is going to come in with a desperation, because I think they're probably still going to lose tonight. I think they're putting up a valiant effort. I think they lose tonight, fall 0-2, and go into desperation mode. And I think Denver kind of thinks, it'd be nice to win at home and have the trophy, and everything there already. And maybe sleepwalk into Game 3, blame it on jet lag, blame it on whatever, and come back and whoop them in Game 4. Or in my imagination, it would be a close Game 4 and then back home to Denver to close it out in a 4-1 5-game series. But if this game keeps trending the way it is, Zach, and Miami pulls off something here in the end, which right now seems totally feasible, this thing could be turning on a dime right here, right now, with 9:09 to go in the third.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Miami takes this game, steals one away from Denver at home, I mean that's a dangerous situation to be in if you're Denver. You know, you don't want to go back to Miami with only being up or only having the series tied because Miami's good at winning at home. You know, they can win at home if they need to, and you know if you're one game only have one game under your belt going into games 3 and 4, you have a possibility of coming back to Denver, you know, down 3-1, and that's not something Denver would be okay with. Do I think that happens? Probably not. I think the Heat are going to probably lose this game. It's a close one right now, but if the Nuggets don't pick it up right now and start really getting it going in this third and fourth quarter, and especially probably in this third quarter because the Heat are looking pretty good right now. If the Nuggets don't pick it up pretty soon in this third quarter, then that's trouble for them. Um, if I'm Denver, anything other than 2-0 after this game is scary. Heading back to Miami, you know, you don't have your altitude anymore. You don't have, you know, it's the hostile crowd. It's hot in Miami, especially now. So it's not a situation you want to be in if you're Denver.
No, definitely not. I think that if somehow Miami pulls ahead here in the final moments and they end up sealing this thing away, it'll be all about missed opportunities for Denver. And like you said, they can win at home. And like I stated before, I think Game 3 will be the best game that Miami plays this series. And if they go up 2-1 and then that close game in Miami for Game 4 that I think is going to happen doesn't swing Denver's way, you're looking at Denver having to come back home facing elimination in Game 5. And I don't think that that's anything that they daydreamed about when they got this matchup against the Heat, where they thought maybe they were going to cakewalk this thing.
Yeah, um, they really gotta play with a little bit more urgency, in my opinion, come in this second half. They're playing like they're expecting to win, and while they should expect to win because they are the better team, they need to play like like they're not going to win. They need to play with more urgency because Miami is right now. Miami is willing to let their shooters shoot. Miami's willing to, you know, take a little bit of risk because they're playing with that urgency. And that's why we're looking at this fast break right now with what I didn't see what ended up getting called there, but
Clear path foul.
looking like they might have clear path foul. Yeah, I mean Jokic is lucky that wasn't a tech or maybe a flagrant or something there. That was an interesting little twist up. But like I was saying, uh, Miami's playing with a little bit more of an urgency than Denver right now, which is gonna kind of be the difference in my opinion, is whether or not Denver lets Miami win. It's Denver's Larry O'Brien to lose.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree. Um, so let's talk about it here. There's not really any lines out right for this next game because it's not over. But where would you put a line here for Game 3 if you were a bookkeeper? We'll keep this thing super interesting here.
you know, looking at the game as it is right now, and after game one, you know, Denver kind of what did Denver win by in game one?
Denver won by 12, I believe.
Oh, I'd probably set the line at 5.5.
So 5.5. So you'll
Uh,
put
Denver minus 5.5.
so Denver minus 5.5. Okay. Um,
That's probably what I would put the line at.
would you take Denver minus 5.5 in Miami?
Not in game three. In game three, I would take Miami.
Okay.
I'd take that plus 5.5.
So I'm just gonna put that down as the line. We're gonna make that the official line. Miami plus 5 or minus 5.5 at home. Um, and so you're taking Miami plus, to win by more than 5, or you want to take Denver by losing by less than 5.
Well, no, if it's Denver minus 5.5, it'd
Oh
be
yeah, so
Miami
Miami plus
losing
five and a
by.
half. Yep, Miami plus 5.5. All right, that's what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay, there you go. So
Miami might lose, but
and
it'll
I
be close.
but I'm taking it too. I'm taking Miami plus 5.5 here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it with you here. I think that's pretty standard. You got $100 to play with here. How much we putting on this one, friend?
50.
50. Okay, yeah, we'll put half a bit on there. 50 on that one. And then as far as the second thing we're gonna do, we'll do total right now. So total for this last game was 216, but since this one's gonna end by probably around 220-ish. I think the line for this one is probably going to sit around 218 to 216. I think we could do 216 probably here would be a good guess for the over under total. What would you take the over under on
Is
216?
this for this game or for
Yeah,
game
for
3?
for game 3, 216.
Okay. Um, I would take the under on that. Why don't we throw a little live? See if we can get a live line here. Is there like a live over
Right now
under for the total on this game?
the live line currently for this game is over under 220 and a half.
Let's do it. Let me slap that under.
Let's slap the under 220 right now.
Yeah, let's get that going. Give me
Under how
give me
much you want
20
on
on
that?
that.
How much you want on that? You got 50 left to play with.
Give me 20 on that.
20 on
Let's
that.
slap it
20
under on that.
on that live.
Yeah. And
Live.
then for the game 3, 216, I'll take the under on that.
Okay. Under
But 15
216
on that.
for game 3. And yeah, how much you
Put
want to put on
15
that? You
on
got
it.
you got 30 left. Want to put 15 on that one?
Yeah, and then we'll throw 15 on one more.
Okay. So the last one,
Throw it on a baseball line or something.
yeah, it is a baseball line. I will let you know right now. It is a baseball line. So, who we rocking with for? Let's do tomorrow's games for June 5th. Um, we
The
got
Yankees play?
the Yankees. They're not playing. It doesn't look like the Yankees are playing. The Red Sox are playing. The Reds are playing. The Rangers play the Cardinals.
Throw me the Rangers.
Adam
Throw me the Rangers.
Wainwright gets the start for the Cardinals. Rangers are 1.5 run underdogs. We'll take the Rangers plus the run and a
Throw me
half.
the Rangers.
Giving him the Rangers plus run and a half for 15 on it. All right, that's good stuff. What do you want your locks to be? Yeah, 3.
Definitely the live line.
Okay, so the live 220 and a half under. And then what do you want the other two to be?
The Miami plus 5.5.
Okay, Miami plus 5.5.
And then the Rangers
And
underdog line.
Rangers plus the run and a half. So I am going to take for my baseball game. I'm going to take the Cubbies to lose bigly. So I'll take the Padres minus a run and a half for my baseball pick. I will also take I'll take the over on the 216 for game 3. I guess it's 216 and a half. So I should put on here 216 and a half because they don't do numbers for totals because it can tie.
Yeah.
And then as far as the live under, I don't know about. Oh man, that thing dropped. That thing dropped to 216 fast. He said, "Let me slap that under," and it's dropping. So
look at it. The defense is amazing right now. Like
yeah,
there's been like 4 points scored in the last like 5 minutes.
yeah. So I'll just match you with the under 220 and a half
Yeah,
since
that's
that
you
seems to
gotta
be
lock that in.
trending pretty well there. If I had to lock that in IRL, I probably would have locked it in there for a cool 100.
For real.
Yeah, it's dropping quick. It's dropping quick.
Man, no way. I mean, no way. Like, here's how I think about it. I think about it being a close game and both teams getting to like 110, right?
Yeah,
For the
yeah,
220 line.
yeah.
I don't see either team getting to 110 right now
No,
with
not right
with
now.
this
That
defense.
each team has missed their last few shots, and I think that's why it's dropping
Yeah.
so quickly. Plus, time keeps going. There's not a lot of stoppage here.
Yeah, for real.
So all right. Well, those are the picks right now. We'll see how those kind of pan out for us. Right now, my picks from last episode. So far, I am 1-1. My NHL picks. I went through. The Knights won by a goal and a half, but I pressed the under on the 5.5 goals. That didn't happen. They had 7 last night. Right now, my Heat 8.5 line is looking good from last episode, and the under 214 from last episode looks like it's looking well as far as if you look at it live looking, it's at 213.5. So looking good right now for the under 214 that I took also.
Still dropping.
So yeah, still dropping down to 211 now. Jesus Christ.
Jeez, a 9-point slide that quick?
Yeah, you're like, sweet Jesus. Like, it's only a 5 point lead for
What
them.
a what a snag on the under.
Right? Like, if you snag that under 220.5 live with 9:09 to go in the third quarter, you are in the money, brother. You are in it. I can't believe it was that high if it's
I
gonna drop like
should have
this.
slapped my whole bank account on that.
Right? Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, it dropped so fast. Okay. Any last words for? Oh,
That
let's
thing's
let's
gonna be below 200.
yeah. So let's talk about
Before the end.
so the last thing we wanted to touch on before we got here was the OU softball, right? So OU takes on Stanford tomorrow.
Fantastic. Best college team of
Yeah,
all time,
best. Yeah,
of any
best.
sport.
Yeah,
Any sport.
best college team I've seen in any sport as far as a complete unit. They have everything you could possibly want in a dominant team. It's like watching UConn basketball, kind of like that's the only thing I can compare it to, like in its heyday, because it was like, oh, they're playing the number 2 team in the country and they'd still win by 20. That's the kind of feeling you get when you watch the softball team. It's like, oh, they're going up against a really good team, and then they just run rule them, and you're just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. It reminds me of like the 2017 Warriors
Yeah, that
kind of
too. Yeah,
situation, you
the
know. It's just like
73-9 or whatever.
it's like we're playing for second. They're
Yeah,
playing for second. I mean,
yeah,
that's what's happening.
yeah. I mean,
And what a team.
yeah,
Three peats on the way.
yeah.
Patty Gasso is the
Book it.
greatest coach of any sport
Yeah, but
in college ever.
I mean,
I
if it,
mean,
is there a line on women's softball? Yes, there is. Let's look at how much it.
the OU lines are better
the-
insane sometimes. But the Stanford one's probably like a 3.5 or something like that.
Uh, so right now there's no line for like the game. The money line right now has Stanford plus 400, OU plus 575 or minus 575 for the pick'em right now. Um, I mean, yeah, they don't have any
It's
like
insane.
they did if they would have had futures for this sport, I think it would have been the easiest cash grab ever. Would have been booking the Sooners to win the national title for 3 years in a row because they're just absolutely just dominant. There's just
Mhm.
nobody that can hang with them. And now Tennessee
What
beats
are we at?
Oklahoma
50,
State.
50 game win streak?
So Tennessee is gonna play Florida State in their game on Monday at 6 o'clock. And these will be the last 4 teams in the Women's College World Series will be Stanford, Oklahoma, Florida State, and Tennessee. Of course, Tennessee has the 2 transfers from OU, Mackenzie Donahue, and I can't remember the other girl's name, so apologize for that. But um, they have weapons. But I just don't think anybody can stand with the
Yeah.
Sooners. So let's just give Patty Gasso her flowers for just being one of
I
the
mean,
greatest
OU 9
coaches.
owed them.
Yeah, what?
OU 9 owed them
Yeah. Oh,
last
yeah.
game OU
Yeah.
played.
So I say,
9
yeah.
owed Tennessee.
Yeah. They run. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter who they're playing in this Women's College World Series. I don't even think Florida State could give them a good game. I really don't. I don't think Florida State's going to give them a good game if Florida State beats Tennessee, and I don't think Stanford's is going to be something that OU is going to have to really fight really hard to try to beat. I know that.
Let me push back a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
I think Florida State, that will be the game to
Oh,
watch.
okay.
The
Okay.
the Florida State, I think Florida State runs through Tennessee. I think Florida State's coaching is great. They're a perennial program, and they're a good team this year.
Yeah. I mean,
Throw Florida State for me. Florida State's going to the final, and it's going to be OU against Florida State.
mhm.
Um, I don't think Florida State will pick up a game, but I think they'll give them a game, if that
Okay.
makes
I see what
sense.
you're saying. So you
You know,
think? I mean,
we might have like a 1 to 2 run win from
okay.
OU. I think it's gonna
Okay.
be I don't think OU's losing a game in the rest of the the rest of the series. I don't imagine OU loses,
Yeah.
um, even if they just lose 1 game out of the series, I don't imagine that happening. I think we're gonna get sweeps. OU is gonna win these last 4 games, and it's gonna be over. Um, Florida State, though, is the only team that I could see getting a win against OU. And that's just because, 1, they have fantastic pitching, they always will. They got a few people that can hit bombs. I'm not sure their names, but, I've been watching. I've been watching. Um, I mean, I don't know if you saw the Florida State Oklahoma State game. Florida State 8-0'd them.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Um, They're a good team. They are a good team. I want to see what they do against Tennessee, because I kind of saw Tennessee against OU. I wasn't impressed by Tennessee that much. Um, shout out to Kinsey Donahue. And I don't know who the other one is
Yeah,
either.
I
Um,
it's a
but
it's like a
it's just not a match.
it's
It's
like
just
a
not a match
Hawaiian
for
chick. I can't remember. Let me look. I have
yeah.
it pulled. I have it
But
pulled up
that
here.
just doesn't compete with the talent of OU. That doesn't compete with Jada Coleman. That doesn't compete with Tiara Jennings. That doesn't, like that's just not. OU is so deep. They have so many. They have so many talented players. Um, I don't see any team being able to beat them.
Yeah, I concur. I really don't. I mean, you're 58-1. It takes a lot for for a team to beat a team like OU. It's just a lot. Try to
What's their pitcher's name right now
who
for OU? Who's pitching for them?
Jordy Ball, Jordy Ball.
Oh yeah, Jordy Ball. That's what I was thinking. It's like Jordy Ball is
Oh,
unstoppable
the
right now.
okay. The other girl is the third baseman for the Tennessee Volunteers. Pooney was the other transfer. Pooney and Donahue are, the-
Okay, yeah.
are the two transfers that are in Tennessee that beat Oklahoma State to give them a chance to lose to Florida State, so that OU could have a great series against Florida State, because they had a good one against UCLA a couple years ago. Um, and they've had some close games in the Women's College World Series, obviously being able to pull it off the last two times. But I mean, there have been some close ones. So I concur. I think the pushback is warranted.
Oh yeah. I mean, here's the thing with OU though. They're the best pitching team in the country. They're the best hitting team in the country. They're the best coach team in the country. They probably have the three best player, two of the three best players in the country. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's over.
and they're
Yeah,
probably going to be like this for the next 2 or 3 years. I
yeah,
mean, we might legitimately see like a 5-peat out of OU softball, which is insane.
yeah. That is insane. I concur. That is wild. And on that note, we will sign off with that positive spin on OU softball. Zach, thank you for joining me for this episode. I appreciate you taking the
Sure.
time. I know we got tons of stuff going on here, as it is once again a 3-point game, but that under, it's at 207 right now. We are looking good. If you smash that 220, you are looking golden. I think you can go to bed if that's the only thing you had on your ticket was that under 220 and a half. So Zach, any last words before we get out of here?
Boomer Sooner, baby. Looking for that third natty in a row.
That's right, Three-Peat Central here on the St0ner Sports Radio podcast. And remember, keep a stick on the ice. We'll see you for episode number 35.